What's going on, guys? It's Wednesday night again, and here we are hanging out, looking forward to talking about model kits again like we always do on Wednesdays, and I appreciate everybody being here. And I've been sitting here for the last several minutes while you guys have been waiting on me, trying to get these videos that I took of the model show this past Saturday to load up on the screen so we can take a look at them and I can show them to you. But so far, no luck. But hopefully here shortly I will be able to figure that out while I'm messing around. So if you see me messing with my phone, that's what I'm trying to do, trying to get these videos up, but it's just not wanting to work tonight, so that might have to wait until next week. But that's all right. We've got plenty of other things we can do and talk about, I am sure, like we always do. So how's everybody doing tonight? Let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got the lawn care novice here. Good to see you this evening as well. And Ted is here. Nice to see you, Ted. And howdy, howdy, howdy to you too, Nick. Good to see you tonight. And Carlos is here. Rex is here. Joseph and good to see you from Florida tonight. Charles is here, and Ed is here from Texas. And yes, Ed, a couple of weeks I did mention that Dragon was or is about to reissue their 350th scale destroyers. And you're right, they're not on the website yet. I'm trying to, or not trying to, I'm waiting for them to confirm pricing. And as soon as they finalize that pricing with me, we will get them put up on the website. That hopefully will be very soon. But they are doing, to my knowledge, unless I'm forgetting some of them, they're doing all of them. The ones that I don't think they are redoing, if you remember the branch of Dragon called Cyber Hobby, and remember they did one of the destroyers, which one was it? Maybe the Big Can't, no, I forget. It was one of the destroyers. They did a Cyber Hobby Models version of it. It was kind of like a special edition. I have not seen that one on their list. It's just the Dragon issued ones. But either way, we'll have those listed up soon. And Frank, it is party time. I'm glad you think so. It's good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight, Jason. And let's see. I will not be going to BeachCon on Saturday, unfortunately. I would love to, but just have too much stuff going on up here in this neck of the woods, so to speak. So enjoy the show for me. I'm sure it's going to be good. Let's see. Hey, Scotty, glad you remembered to join us tonight. And Jason, yeah, I see that now. You are coming to us from YouTube instead of Facebook. So, and yeah, that's YouTube is where the crowd is. So glad to see you over here. So good. Let's see. Yeah, gonna have a great time tonight. Hello, Brandon. Nice to see you. Another guy sharing my name. And Frank, the Birds of War, unfortunately, they're in the same situation as they were a week or two ago when we were talking about them. Since we have run out of space in our warehouse, I no longer have space to do 3D printing in the warehouse. So the 3D printers have been packed up. They're here at my house. They are supposed to be being set up in my model workstation or workbench work area here at my house. It's just one of those things, getting around to it. And I hope to get it done soon. The 1/6 scale Birds of War figure that Roberto Von Bear sculpted for us, it's done, if that's the kind of thing you're wanting. It's the Cherokee Strip B24, and this is the light's kind of bright, but this is the headdress for it, all resin. It's huge. So if you know the Cherokee Strip B24, which is actually not a B24, it's an F7, but so that's kind of cool. We have those available, but that's quite a large kit in 1/6 scale. But Roberto made it, and that's kind of what he's known for. So, but the little ones will be coming soon. I sure do hope. Good to see you tonight, Wayne. Good to see you, TD from Ohio. Let's see. Ship color paints. Yeah, that's very cool. Good deal. Good to see you tonight. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. And Linsk is with us again tonight. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. Halfway through, Ted says he's halfway through the interview on the Mojo podcast. Yeah, that was, I had a lot of fun hanging out with those guys and telling the story. And believe it or not, that it went way longer than I expected that to. But that's still not the full story. So I think sometime when I get around to it and I have a couple hours to stare at a video camera, I think I would like to sit down and do a video here for our YouTube channel and tell the entire story. So that's something that I want to do, and hopefully I'll get that done soon. But yeah, the Mojo podcast was very cool, very fun. Glad you're listening to that. And Trey's, nice to see you tonight. We're doing good. Hope you are as well. Let's see. And we got so many other people in here. I appreciate it, everybody. Let's just go ahead and jump in to some of these kits I want to talk about. One of the really cool things that I hope all of you that are here in the live show tonight and anybody that watches the replay after tonight will will watch is this week I had an opportunity to do a interview with Valeria from ICM Models, and that was very interesting. You might have seen, I did an interview with Lauren Perry about a year ago, I guess, and that was supposed to be, and it was, the first of a series of videos that I have been wanting to do called The History of the Hobby. And basically the idea is I have a lot of friends in the industry, some like Lauren that started photo etch companies or aftermarket companies, and we had a live show one evening with David Doyle and Dana Bell, so I know a lot of authors, and then I know a lot of the people that run the big companies like ICM and some of the other plastic model companies. So I really want to do these videos to interview these people that are involved in the industry and just get their story of how they came to be in the business and a little bit of the history of their company or their brand or whoever they represent, and really just let them give the viewer, the customer, you guys, an inside look at the industry from their point of view. I mean, you get to hear my point of view every Wednesday night as far as what Squadron has going on and some of the new things that have come in, and I'll show you some of these in a few minutes like I always do. But I thought it would be really interesting to be able to let you hear, the manufacturing side from some of these. I mean, we all buy all these brands. We have our favorites, or we might try this brand or that brand, but I thought it would be cool if you got to hear it straight from them. And now, at long last, I have finally picked back up on that idea of this History of the Hobby series, and the one with Valeria is done, and I will be posting that sometime in the next few days. We're finishing up the editing on it, and I've got one that'll be posted with Peter, who is our book artist. I've got one planned with Peter from Atlantis Models. I've got all these guys that I know, guys and gals that I know that want to do this and tell their story of how they got in the business. So it's going to be really neat. I actually got I went ahead and came up with a little logo for the series. Here, you can check it out real quick. Pretty much the same as our logo that goes on the front cover of our catalog, but I thought it was fitting. It's the History of the Hobby presented by Squadron, so it's pretty neat. But that the interview with Valeria, it was very interesting because if you don't know, ICM is in Kyiv, Ukraine, and of course they've got a war going on there, as we all know. And the crazy part was, right when we got on the video and we started the recording, we were just saying hello and talking about a few things before we got started, and I thought we weren't going to be able to proceed with doing the interview and recording the video because all of a sudden she gets a notification on her phone. They've got a bombing raid going on, and she thought they were going to have to go down. They've got bunkers and everything, of course, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But thankfully she was okay. We did the video, and we went through her catalog. It's really cool. She's actually the one that sets up the catalog. She's the one that creates all the boxes, all the packaging, and really just gets these products produced and gets them out to us so we can get them to you. And it's just really neat hearing her story about how her father owns the company. And she got involved. It's a family business, just like Squadron is. So it's just really neat, and I hope that you will watch that. We'll have that posted up on our YouTube channel very soon, and then we will proceed with some others. And I don't know how often I will post those. I'd like to get at least one of them up a month. So we'll just see how it goes. So that's the what I got going on at the moment for that kind of stuff. But talking about ICM, what kind of brought this on was, they were just next in line for one of the companies that I wanted to do this with. But that B-26 Marauder that ICM's been working on, they have finally got it out. And it's not here yet, of course. They're just finishing up the production, getting them packed up, and they are supposed to ship out. What's today? The day's the 20th. I think she said it was the 25th or somewhere in that ballpark where they're actually going to go in the mail and be shipped to us. So, if Customs doesn't do what they like to do all too often to us, we should have those just within a couple of weeks after they ship them on the 25th. But it was really interesting hearing her talk about that, because I asked her, that was announced to be released in 2023, and then of course it never came out. And it's interesting to hear the story as to why that didn't come out. It's not exactly what you would expect. I knew that they had some things they found about their model, their version of it, that were wrong, and I know who they contacted to get the corrected plans and pictures and all the information, and I knew they fixed it, but I didn't realize what the problem was and why they had to fix it. So it was just kind of neat going through all those things. But that's going to be a really good kit. I'm excited to see that one. If you didn't see their, let's see, this is another thing that's coming that it's kind of different, but I think it's really cool. And we've been doing a lot of pre-orders on these, so I guess everybody else thinks it's kind of cool too. But check this out. They're doing this landing mat stuff. So, and it's 35th scale, and you can see the helicopter in the background. So that's kind of what it's designed to be used for. Of course, the helicopter is not included with this, but that's just a neat thing. And they've actually got a few different types of landing mat and types of this sort of thing that they're going to be doing this year. But they got a lot of cool stuff coming out. So if you haven't checked out an ICM kit, make sure to do that. Make sure to check out that interview with Valeria that I've got coming soon. All right, let's see, back over here in the chat. Jason, you're talking about those Magic Factory Corsairs and the 3D cockpits and all that stuff. It's a really neat kit, that Corsair kit is, and I'm glad you're going to build one of those. It was good to see you at the show. I thought your Wildcat looked really good, and that's one of these pictures on here that, for whatever reason, I can't get to load. But if it'll load in a minute, I'll show it. But it was neat. So this show that I'm talking about it was an IPMS show, and it was AtlantaCon. And oh goody, here's my pictures. It was AtlantaCon down in Marietta. And they have this show every year. I always go to it. I really like it. But what was interesting about this year was they set records. They had the largest, if I understood correctly, they had the largest turnout of modelers entering the contest, which translated into the largest amount of models entered in the contest. And then they also had the largest amount of just walk-in traffic. So it was really cool. I'm glad that the show was a success for that club. It was good for us too, and hopefully the other vendors. And these videos are finally downloading, so we'll take a look at those in a minute. But it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the next show that I get to go to. Unfortunately, it won't be until Nationals, but now that I think about it, the AMPS Nationals is only like 3 weeks away. So I guess it's not that long. Yeah, there you go. I don't have to wait that long. So South Bend, Indiana is the AMP show that's coming up, and I guess it's just a few weeks away. Wow, we better get ready for that. Speaking of AMPs, let me show you some of this new armor that just came in, because it's neat. Where's it at? All right, if you have been wondering what the Tacom Big Box is, if you don't already know, let me show you. Here it is. And I might say, this is all it is. It is cool, but basically it's three. Where are they at? There they are. 3 tigers in one box, and it also comes with the 1/16 scale Autocarius figure. So, if you're curious, where's my knife? I left it downstairs. That's awesome. We will use a sprue nipper to open it. Alright. If you're wondering what's inside here, one thing that I kind of realized at the show this weekend, I took these with me to sell down there. And a lot of people didn't realize what it was. They thought that it was just one tiger kit in this box. And it's like, why would you need such a large tiger, which would, you know, if that were the case, there would be like tons of parts to it. But that's not the case. Inside this box, you get 3 different model kits. So, there you go. You get the, and I'm sorry for my lights reflecting, but you get the late production one. You get the mid-production, and you get the other mid-production that includes the 35th scale Autocarius, and I'm assuming that the 16th scale figure is inside one of these kits. I would at least hope so, because it's supposed to be included. Well, you definitely don't get the box with it. Alright, well, I'm going to have to dig through this and figure that out later, because it's supposed to be in there. It'd be a shame if it wasn't, but it probably is in here somewhere, just you don't get the box. Because all of these kits are available separately, including the 16th scale figure. But whatever, I'll figure that out later. But that's really neat. Those are cool. And then there's another. I brought too much stuff home today. This is neat. If you're into 35th scale stuff, this they call it a law enforcement carrier. And I'm not very familiar with this subject. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not familiar enough to answer one of the questions that a lot of people are asking me at the show this weekend about it. Is this the same as the military version? And I just don't know, so I need to find out. I would assume that Kinetic would release a military version of this, and even if it's the exact same thing, just do a different box, because it is a cool vehicle, and it would be neat to be able to build the military version out of that for sure. Let's see. There we go. Still working on these videos. They're extracting now. Alright, talking about 35th scale stuff. Check this out. Alright, this is from Border Model. And do you remember Border Model's Apocalypse tank that they did a while back? So that was #1 in that series, the futuristic series, or whatever the name of that series needs to be. And this is the second release in that series, and it's called the Grizzly Battle Tank. And this is, it's really neat. The box is way bigger than I was expecting it to be. I mean, look how big this box is. And the cool thing about it is it's got 2 different ways that you can build this kit. Let's see what's on this side. You can build it as the standard looking tank, or you can build it in this this turreted position. So it's a pretty neat kit, and the size of it is just huge. They call it 35th scale, but let's see. Yeah, there's the side of it, so you can kind of get an idea of the size of this thing. It's neat. So if you're into that futuristic, sci-fi, what if kind of stuff, that's a neat one. All right, more 35th scale. Everybody's been waiting on these to come back in, and they're finally here. The 40 millimeter quad Bofors from Zimmy model. Now, this is the second time we've got these, and the first time around we sold out pretty much immediately, and that was for the special edition or the limited edition version of it. And everybody's been asking me what's the difference in the original or the initial limited edition special version and this one. There was about a, I don't know, $7 or $10 price difference. The original one was a little bit more, but as far now, I didn't know the answer until these came in. But now that they're here, I can confirm that the only difference is the box. This is just a regular standard model kit box, something that you would expect. The original one, if you happen to get one of those, it had an extremely fancy, super thick, it was a really, really nice box. I mean, if you're a box collector, you would really, really like it. But, I mean, this is still a nice box. The front is kind of embossed and raised, the gun is. So there's nothing wrong with it. But as far as the kit itself, it is the same. One of the main concerns from a few of my customers is this one, the standard one, going to include the brass or the metal turn barrels? And yes, it definitely does. It's got all the metal barrels. It's got the photo etch. It's got all that stuff. Now, one thing that I found out this weekend as I was going through the kit with somebody at the show, we were looking at it and talking about it, and it never occurred to me that, so it's got these ammo belts and they're molded in a gold color, but you don't have enough of them. It's got enough to get you started, but you don't have enough, and this is what they look like. They're in groups of 4 there, and the idea is to, be able to put them around the tub. Well, there's not enough to go all the way around, so I mean, I guess if you're building it after they've shot half of them, you can call it that. But I want to ask Zimmy, I'm going to ask Zimmy sometime soon if they would consider selling that one sprue in, maybe a set of 4 or 6 or whatever, and pack them up that way, because I can see how you would want to have a lot more than what they included in the box. So we'll see. Maybe they will consider selling that, because if you look at these built-up pictures on the side, I mean, it's slapped full of the shells, and you just can't do that with what's included in the box. So it's unfortunate, but that should be something that's easy to be solved. We will hope anyway. I guess I got more 35th scale stuff. I have more 35th scale stuff here tonight than I thought I did. All right, Ming has a new item. So, Ming had this Apache longbow, and it was really cool, and those were nice, and they're back in stock. But they have their new version, which is the AH-64D, the Serif version, and we've got 2 different. You can get it 2 different ways. You can get it like this, the standard one, or this particular kit that I brought home with me. This is what they're calling their, what do they call it? Special edition. Yeah, all these companies, you get special, limited, deluxe. I never remember who uses what words, but Ming is going with special edition, and this one includes the pilots. So it's pretty neat, and they look nice. You can kind of see what they look like there. But those just came in. All of this is from that container that came in last week that we had been waiting on forever. So it was really good to see all this stuff. Ming, one of their new cars, this is an Audi R8, the next version of it. It showed up. It's pretty neat. If you're a car guy, you probably need one of those. They have more stuff too. Another car. This is one of their 12th scale series, one of their big ones, the MP4s. So those are nice. I know a lot of people have been waiting on those. It's not really my cup of tea, but one of the guys at our shop, Jay, he eats that stuff up. That's like his favorite stuff. Let's see. And then finally for Ming, this is 9th scale. Yeah, 1/9 scale, their new BMW motorcycle. So a lot of variety this time around with the container. Planes, tanks, ships. Ships being the 700 scale Bunker Hill from Flyhawk. Those finally came in. This is the standard version, and we also have their deluxe version. This got all the bells and whistles. Now, and some of those bells and whistles, you can see it mentioned here on the corner. I'm going to show it to you, but the video, my camera and the lights and everything are going to not do this justice. I'm going to try to take some pictures of this to post on the website. This has a 3D printed, I always want to say cage mast. It's not a cage mast, it's just the mast. But this thing, oh man, it looks so good. But it looks so fragile, it scares me to try to cut this thing out. But, and like I said, I know the video is not going to be good, but that thing is, this here, this is the printing support to keep it safe, but inside there, the whole mast is done in one piece, 3D printed. So I've got to get this thing busted out of here and take some pictures of it because it looks awesome. You would just have to see it in person to really be able to appreciate it. But that is the 700 scale Bunker Hill from Flyhawk, and the deluxe version is the only one that has that mast. It has the standard plastic parts in it too, that are how you would have to build it out of the standard version, but it's some really neat stuff. And talking about ships, we have a new brand that just came out. It's new. I had never heard of it anyway. And this, if I understand correctly, is their first release. And it's called Neverland Hobby. And their first release is U-96, the U-boat. And it's in 1/44 scale. And it looks nice. I don't know anything about this yet. The thing I find interesting is that it is advertised as a snap kit. The parts are molded in different colors. So you've got the main parts are gray, but then the top is a lighter gray. So I guess their idea is, you know, if maybe a junior modeler or somebody just getting started out, I guess theoretically you could put this thing together with no glue, because it says no glue required, and it says no paint required because it's multicolored parts. And you know, considering that the submarine is mostly gray, and you can see is on their box art, you know, the upper part of it is that lighter gray, and that's how they've got it molded. So you know, it could be a really quick build if you're trying to get your kids or grandkids or whatever started. Heck, I might need to float this one past my son Emmett and see if he'd be interested, because outside of it being a snap kit, the parts, I did a quick glance at it earlier, and the parts look really nice. It's like, doesn't matter if it's a snap kit or not, it still goes together really good. So it's interesting, it's cool to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Neverland Hobbies, this is their logo, looking forward to seeing what else they have coming down the pipeline soon. It's always nice to see a new company getting started. Speaking of new companies getting started, one of the, and I don't think they're brand new, but it's definitely new to us, and you may have, if you're a ship model guy, you might have been seeing lately, they've been posting a heck of a lot on Facebook. You might have seen HS Model showing off their new 200 scale Curtis Wilbur Super Deluxe, whatever words they're going with, super detail set for that I Love kit, Harley Burt kit. and we will be getting those. I don't have them posted on the website yet because they are still trying to finalize the production and come up with their price. But that is a pretty hot subject. I'm excited about it for myself. It looks really nice, and we will be getting those just as quickly as possible. I think they're trying to finish them up by the end of the month and get them shipped out, but we'll see. I told him to let me know as soon as possible on the price so I could get them up for pre-order, because I think it's going to be pretty popular. So if you've been seeing posts about that, we will be getting them. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just catching up with what you guys were talking about. The Buchanan, that could have been that Cyber Hobby one. I forget which one was which. Yeah, Chris. I see them. They're some good guys. They have a lot more people at that factory than I thought they did. But I'll let Valeria tell you about it on that interview when I get that posted. Let's see. Yeah, Jason, it was a real good show. It was good to see you and everybody else there. So, oh, and look, Jason's got the official numbers. Yeah, 559 models at a local contest. That's pretty good. That's nothing to be ashamed of, for sure. All right. Still trying to get these things to open. Here we go. All right. Get all of these. Show you some of this, some of the pictures from this show. Finally. I don't know why this took so long. My computer is like asleep or something. All right, here we go. There's me. That was my booth. And let's see. I'm trying to find the video. Oh my gosh. My computer does not have the correct codecs to play this video. Alright, well, I guess this definitely is going to have to wait until next week. That's too bad. Well, I guess that's what I get for not checking things like that before we get started. But yeah, well, I took a few pictures anyway. I guess now I wish I'd turned around and taken pictures from the other side. That is supposed to be a video, but it's just not going to play. This is also supposed to be a video. This is, remember a couple of months ago I had Jonathan Godwin here on the show with me, and it was the night we were talking to a couple of guys, and they were showing off their model rooms, and he had this kit in progress at the time, or in process at the time, and he was finally able to get that finished, and he brought it to the show. So that's really neat, and I don't know why I took that picture. This was one of my personal favorites at the show. I mean, everything at the show looked good, but you know, you got to pick a favorite, right? And this one just stood out to me. 48 scale B29. You know, maybe it's because it was the biggest thing on the table, but actually it was probably because I just haven't seen a 48 scale B29 built up since I can remember. I've seen them, but it's been a long time. So when I saw that, I was like, that's really cool to see that. This is, again, supposed to be another video that's not going to play, but that gives you an idea of some of the models in the contest. And this video was supposed to be the display of Gundam figures, and Jason and his crew, they had the Gundam section going on this weekend. There was a very large turnout of Gundam stuff, so that was really neat to see. Another one of my favorites because it's German railroad stuff. And then we're back to me. So anyway, sorry that the videos aren't working, but I'll try to get those fixed up and show those to you next week. It was a good show though. And Jason, very sorry I didn't have a picture of your Wildcat. It's in one of those videos, but it's just not going to work out tonight, I guess. And Scott, good to see you tonight. And yeah, that Atlanta show, it was very good. So Scott, I don't know of anybody that's doing them yet. Zimmy does not offer them themselves, and I've not seen anybody else make them yet. But I mean, that kid is begging for figures, so somebody's going to do them at some point. I just don't know who, and I don't know when. But as soon as I see them pop up, assuming it's from a brand that I can get, we'll certainly be carrying them, because that kid, like I said, is begging for some figures. Nick, the show that I was talking about a little while ago, it is, let's see, it's the AMPS show, which is Armor Modeling and Preservation Society. It's like IPMS, but it's a different organization, and they're all armored vehicles, or vehicles. You know, you go to that show, all you see is tanks and jeeps and half-tracks and that kind of stuff. But you can, if you don't know about AMPS, and if you do, I'm going to say it anyway for people that don't know, amps.armor.com is their website, and they also, just like IPMS, they have regional shows around the country. Sometimes the AMPS shows are actually done in conjunction with an IPMS show. For example, the Chattanooga show that I go to each year in January. That club, they're an IPMS club and they're an AMPS club. So their show is kind of like all together, so to speak. But just like IPMS has nationals, or their national convention, the AMPS, they also have a national convention. And you can go to their website, amps.armor.org, not .com, .org, and you see it here, AMPS 2024 International Convention, Thursday, April 11th to Saturday, April 13th, and it's up in South Bend, Indiana. So that's it's going to be a fun time. We're going to be there. I'm coming. I don't know who's coming with me. I think my dad's going with me, Russ. Or my brother Jared, but either way I'll be there, and somebody will be with me. So if you're up in that area, check it out. If you've never gone to an AMP show and you're into armor models, I mean, it's a great time. That's all that's there. I think, and I could be wrong, AMPS guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at their national show they do have one category for non-armor stuff. I'm pretty sure they do, but most of their categories are very specific to vehicles. I wish we had flyers, Philip. The only thing I've got at the moment is that our catalog, and we're working on our next catalog, but I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll surprise everybody with a flyer. But even if I do that, it's only going to go out to people that have bought a catalog, because that's my physical mailing list. So make sure to get one of the catalogs if you haven't. And you never know. One of these days, if I have an extra minute, might surprise you guys. And Ronnie, yeah, the Flyhawk stuff really is good. That Bunker Hill is really neat looking. And talking about Flyhawk and armor, we got a lot of 72 scale stuff from them in too that looks really nice. I hadn't had a chance to really go through everything. That container came in, when did it come in? Friday, I think. And it's been just a trying to figure out where to shove it. We are out of space in the warehouse, so not a lot of chance to really go through everything. We've kind of just been trying to figure out where we're going to put stuff. So already started building a bunker here. Well, good. You know what I'm talking about, that little 3D printed mast and how cool it is. So let me look and see. Where did I put it? I would assume so, because the box art shows markings, but let's look. Yeah, it's got some photo etch too. That's cool. All the grills and stuff, I guess that's what it is, are photo etch, so that's nice. And yep, here's your decal sheet. I know that's not coming through on the camera very good, but so there you go. And hey Randy, good to see you tonight. And yeah, Dennis, my party room, I have to show a video sometime of everything I got going on in here. And you know, one of my favorite games I have in here is actually is 1944. If you ever played that old arcade game, it's one of my favorites. I always find myself going to that machine for some reason. But you know, yes, I have thought about this many times, and I've actually got something installed on the website that's kind of in a test phase, I guess you could say. It's not exactly a forum in the traditional thinking of a forum, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of like a forum met Facebook type of thing. But I'm just trying to work out exactly how it would work. I don't want it to be, if we launch something like that, I don't want it to be bad. So we've been testing it and working on it, but I do want to have a way to interact with customers and you guys on the site, where you can talk about kits, you can post pictures of your kit that you built. You know, that Bunker Hill that we were talking about a minute ago, William, when you get yours done, you could post a picture of it on the website. But with that kind of ability for our customers to do these things, you can imagine how that could also be bad for us, for various reasons. So we're just trying to figure out a way to safeguard that for all of those places your mind just went. We were trying to make sure that that bad things don't show up on Squadron, I guess we should say. So we're working on that, and I do want to have that, and hopefully we'll get it at some point. The Antietam from Dragon, I don't know. I don't think I have seen that on the re-release list yet, but they're putting so many things on. They're re-releasing like dozens of kits each month. So I very well could have missed it on the lists that I have been seeing so far of what we have coming. And it's also possible that they haven't done it yet. But as fast as they're re-releasing stuff, I can only imagine that that is on the list. And I hope that some of the things that they never released to begin with but announced make that list. You know, like an Enterprise Dragon, please. We'll see. Yeah, the VLC player. I'll get it. I know how to do it. This is actually a new computer that I got. It was one of our extra ones that we had at the warehouse. We've got all these computers, and this one just never got set up. We just never haven't needed it yet. So I said, you know what? That's going to be my new streaming computer, and I just haven't got all the things I need installed in here yet. Yeah, and there's Jonathan. Yeah, that was a nice kit, and he had a couple other kits there at the show too. Again, gotta wait for that video. And you know, I talk about Jonathan and his kits at the show, and I talk about Jason and his Gundams and his Wildcat at the show. some of you other guys could have had kits there at the show too, and I apologize if I'm not mentioning them. Um, if you were there and you had stuff in the show, please let me know in the chat, because I don't want to leave anybody out. It was a fun show, and I talked to a lot of people. Yeah, that B-29, man. I really, really, really want somebody to come out with a new tool, 48 scale B-29. You got to figure it's inevitable at some point, but I would really like to see that. That old monogram kit, it really can be built up nicely. That guy, he did a good job on it. I've got one in my stash, and I've looked at it, and it's not horrible, but newer is always better, right? So maybe somebody will get one going sometime. Yeah, Jonathan, looks like you are serious about getting that kit finished. 41-hour day to finish a model kit. Sounds like a good thing to me, because the kit looks good for sure. Oh, and Ed, I apologize. I saw your email, and all the Builder Showcase stuff that comes in, I make little folders in my email, so I know which emails came in for which week. So right now I have an April 3rd Builder Showcase folder, and your email came in, and I dropped it in that folder. And then now that I'm seeing your chat, I realize I never responded to you. Zip files are fine. It doesn't matter. The way you sent me that one, which, by the way, I love that model. Jimmy Flintstone does some really interesting stuff, and being a huge Elvis fan myself, I really like that kit that you sent in. So I'll leave it at that. We'll have to wait till the 3rd to show off Ed's kit that he sent me. But I really did like that. But yes, zip files are fine. Not zip files are also fine. Send it to me however you want. And the higher the resolution, the better. I had one guy say that he reduced the resolution for me so I could download it. You can send it as big a file as you want, and if it's too big, if it's a zip file that's too big, send it to me with WeTransfer. The bigger the better. It doesn't matter. If I need to reduce the size, I can do it on my end. So Ed has found some figures for the Bofors. Okay, good deal. Makes sense. 3D print sites, find your figures and get what you need. That's a good idea. And yeah, Nick, come to the show. It's going to be fun. Yeah, we've got that one in April, and then the last weekend of May, I'll be at Wonderfest, and then the middle of July we'll be at IPMS National. So I guess I've got a show once a month for the next 3 to 4 months. You know what's funny about that, Scott? You're talking about the black and white ones, and we should do those. This day and age, it's a little bit cheaper sometimes to not do color, but the way all these new printers work, it's just about, you might as well print color these days. It's just interesting. I remember when it used to be significantly cheaper to print black and white, but it's about the same now. I mean, you'll save a few pennies, and I guess depending on how many you print, it may be more than just a few pennies. But I don't know. We might do some black and white stuff. When we did that catalog, the price guide that we originally shipped out with it, we did the price guide. I set it up for black and white, and that's how I submitted it. And after the fact, I was just looking just to see. I submitted my full color version of the exact same thing, and I forget how many of them we printed, but it was like less than $100 difference to print it in full color, and we're talking about for thousands of these things. So I'm like, wow, might as well just do everything in full color these days because it looks better anyway. But the old school flyers were cool. I finally started going through. I've got a whole massive stack of the old Squadron catalogs, because at some point I want to, after I get everything collected and we have a showroom at our shop, I want to set up what we're calling the Squadron Museum, and I want to display as much old Squadron stuff or anything that has to do with Squadron in that area. So that would obviously include all the old catalogs and stuff. And I've been collecting these. Customers have been sending me stuff that that they don't want anymore, or that they would rather me have to display for other people to see and enjoy. And my goodness, there's thousands of these things, and I'm also trying to get one each of all the in-action books and walk around in all the Squadron Signal Publications books. And I'll be able to do that pretty easy because there's a record of all the books that were published. But on the catalogs and the flyers, there's no telling. It's like as soon as I think I have most of them, all of a sudden I find another couple hundred of them that, some customer sends me. And so I'll never know if I have them all, but there's a heck of a lot of them. And I forget, oh man, I forget his name. I can see his face right now. If you're listening, forgive me. I forget who it was. Man. Anyway, he walked up to me at the show and he found somebody had this old figure kit. Oh man, it's downstairs. I should have brought it up here. I'll show you next week. It was a figure kit. It was a German officer of some sort, and I forget what the model kit was. But the cool thing about it, the reason I wanted it, and he sold it to us for like $5 is all the vendor wanted for it. It had it was from 1969. It had an original Squadron shop price sticker on it, and that was just like the coolest thing to me because the first Squadron shop opening in '68. So that was like really neat. So I bought that, and that'll of course go in our Squadron museum one day. But it's really cool that Squadron has such a long history of being in this business. Starting with the Squadron shops, which they had a lot of Squadron shops, retail shops around the country, and they started with that. Then they quickly moved to mail order, talking about those old black and white flyers, and they would do just straight up old school mail order. And then, of course, a few years later, they started the MMD, the Military Model Distributors, and they started importing things and distributing them to hobby shops around the country. And then fast forward to the 90s, they were one of the first websites. And it's just really neat having all this. So I really want to have a section in our shop one day soon that we can set up and call it a Squadron Museum and really tell the history of Squadron, but also tell the history of model kit building in general. And I know there's a couple of places like this in other countries around the world that have done a really good job, but I would love to do that here. And I think we've got the perfect place to do it, being at Squadron. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Greg, the enterprise that I was talking about, assuming you're talking about Dragon that I was mentioning a minute ago, the only reason I mentioned I would love to see them do it is they actually designed one. They designed it. It was done. They had the test shots done. I actually saw the test shots. Timothy Dyke at Model Warships was involved with that project, and I remember seeing him at an IPMS Nationals many years ago, and he brought the test shot with him and he showed it to me, and it was CVN 65 in 700 scale. It was a really nice kit, but this was many years ago. We talked about Dragon is back now. They never really went away, but they quit producing stuff as rapidly as they were. And I don't know all the details of what happened and why they backed down a little bit from new releases, but the timing would make you believe that it possibly had something to do with a certain license that they held at the time, because all of a sudden they were producing Disney licensed products, Marvel figures, which I loved, by the way. I have a lot of those over here that I've built. I've got, I forget how many of those they did, but they did like Iron Man stuff, and these were all 1/9 scale, I believe they were. And let's see, where are they at? I'm going to show you. But they were doing all this kind of stuff, and as that started picking up, their military stuff kind of started, I don't know, not coming out as quickly. Let's see. Here's my little. Where's that? Man, my computer's just not wanting to work tonight. There you go. This is right around the corner for me. This is one of my places that I set some of my models, which this arcade room is like the perfect place for me to display my figure models and comic book style stuff. So, but anyway, Dragon was doing all this kind of stuff, and their military stuff just was not what it once was. And then they had the CVN-65 Enterprise announced. They had a 350th scale Pennsylvania announced that I was really excited about. They had all sorts of other stuff that was announced, not just in ships, but in aircraft and armor. And all of a sudden, none of it ever came out. And then nothing was coming out. And a lot of people, myself included, just assumed that, the mouse got them and they were done. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumors and stories, and I know a few things. So I don't know exactly what happened to all those molds. There is a pretty dang good chance they don't even exist anymore. But I would like to think that's not the case. I would like to think that they are still somewhere, and that perhaps we will still see some of those kits released. But nothing official at all. That is just Brandon hoping. I saw it and I held it in my hands at one point several years ago, so perhaps it can still be, but so far all we've seen from Dragon is re-releases. So, but we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what they've got going. So let's see. Yes, they are. Well, I guess I should read your entire question first. The first part of your question, are they still planning on releasing it? Yes, they are releasing their B-24H, but they are not re-releasing it. It is an all-new tool. So it's not their old B-24 kit. This is an all-new tooling B-24 they're doing in 72 scale. And as far as the June date, that has everything to do with customs and container shipping and stuff. I think that they have it kind of hoped and planned for a May or June release, but we'll just have to wait and see how shipping works for that. But their Gannett kits, I think those are supposed to be here like any day, maybe tomorrow, and that's a really neat kit. So look forward to that. And that was in their the Airfix container that was for this month. And the B-24, from what I understand, is in the next one, but, we'll hope that it gets here by June. And Michael, yes, something like that is what we're looking to do, but we've got to have something that works with our website e-commerce platform and works the way that we want it to work. So it's just one of those things. It's unfortunately kind of, it's not what I get to my office and work on at the beginning of every day. Unfortunately, there's other things first, but that is on the long list of things I would like to do. And like I said, we've got it as far as testing, and hopefully we'll get it to the finish line soon. I am always interested in old catalogs, and actually I am interested in anything that has the Squadron logo on it. So yeah, I mean, if you've got stuff that you don't need, that would be awesome. Check with me first, shoot me an email, let me know what you have, because I have been receiving so much stuff from customers lately, and I'm very grateful for that. But depending on what you have, I might already have it. But yeah, shoot me an email sometime, let me know what you got. I would love to get those and put them on display in our future and upcoming Squadron Museum. Dan, yes, there have been things like this that you see from time to time. Look at Master Box. You can go on our website, and it's Master Box Limited under the figures section. They have all they make is figures, and they have a very large selection of 35th scale figures, like pretty big. If you're into World War II, that's probably their largest selection, but they've got stuff going back as far as they got cowboys and Indians, they got Civil War, they've got they got it all. So check out Master Box Limited if you've not seen them before. And I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but they certainly would be a brand that I would look at if you're looking for doing different battle schemes and battle dioramas and things like that. And then, of course, there's a lot of other brands too. Tamiya and ICM have excellent figures, and a lot of other companies do as well. But Master Box is a good line to look at, and at least to know about if you're into doing that kind of stuff, because they have a huge selection. Bob, I would like to say we are second to Europe only because they get them first. So it's kind of like the kits that are made in China. Those guys over there get them before we do. The Japanese kits, Tamiya, the Japanese market gets Tamiya before we do. So it's the same thing here. Airfix releases the kits, and Airfix ships them to their distributors, and the distributors in Europe are just going to get them before we do. So, I could be wrong. I don't think that they offer them to Europe and hold everybody else back. I think it's just a matter of shipping. I mean, when those containers ship, it takes several weeks to even get here, and then they got to go through customs, then they've got to get to the distributor. And in the case of Airfix, the distributor for that, it's not MMD, so I can't walk next door and get them. I've got to get them through. It takes about a week for them to ship them to me. So, like I said, I could be wrong, but I don't think they hold them. It's just a matter of shipping time, and Europe just happens to be very, very close to them. Dan, glad you got that catalog, and I hope that you enjoy that. That's very cool. Hey, Tim. Yes, I do remember you. It's good to hear from you. Is your model club still going over there? I remember all you guys. I remember y'all came to our when we had our IPMS chapter in Blue Ridge, and we held our contest there for a couple of years. Y'all were always good supporters of our show, and brought some models. I appreciated that. Of course, it's good to hear from you. Hope to see you at a show sometime soon. And if not, come over to our new warehouse and do a visit and see what we've got. We've got a lot more stuff here than we did up in Blue Ridge last time you saw us. Scale Modeler magazines, yeah. There's no telling how many magazines I've got laying around here. Yep, Tim says, tried our best, but the club couldn't grow. Yeah, I understand that. But hey, you can join our Wednesday night club. we're having a lot of fun on Wednesday nights here, and starting to have the regulars turn out every week. So I really appreciate that, guys. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up for this evening. But thank you so much for joining me again and looking at some new kits, talking about some shows, and seeing what everybody's doing. So if you've got one of those Airfix Gannets on order, like I said, we should have them any day now, and we'll get those out. It looks like it's going to be really neat, but as cool as it is, it's probably not going to be near as cool as that new B-24 they've got coming. So very excited about that. Speaking of very cool things that are coming, the the Royal Class P51 from Edward, they did officially cut off their pre-orders this past Monday. So we submitted our final numbers to them. So when they are sold out, they are sold out. So I know we've got more right now, but if you were kind of on the fence about that, go ahead and put a pre-order in, and we're watching the count. And as soon as we get, I'll probably cut pre-orders off when we get to about 10 of them left, just to, save out a few for whatever reason. But make sure to go ahead and jump in on that, because it's going to be pretty cool. And according to Edward, it is very limited, and they're not going to go back and do more. So speaking of, I'll tell you one more thing. I wanted to show you this. Speaking of people that do one production run and don't go back, the new X Plus kit. This finally came in. They're Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. So this was really neat. But as soon as I saw the box, I was like, no, that's like really neat. So if you're, and these are 35th scale. This is the second dinosaur they've done. They did T-Rex was their first one. They're doing this one, and they've got some raptors, velociraptors coming soon. So that's pretty neat. But anyway, wanted to show you that. Those finally came in. That's all for tonight, and if you did not catch the very beginning of this video, I'll say this one more time. I did an interview with Valeria from ICM Models this week, and I will be posting that to our YouTube channel in just a few days. So make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're not, and turn on the bell icon notifications. That way when we post that video, you can watch it. It's about an hour long, and she just goes through the whole history of how she came to be involved with the company, and we talked about some of the new releases like the B-26, how that came to be. It's very interesting, and it's just a really good thing, and that's a part of our History of the Hobby series that I look forward to doing more and more of this year. So make sure to check that out, and guys, I hope y'all have a really good evening. And I'll see you again here next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And as always, give me an email or give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. And y'all take it easy. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.